Hey everyone, Chris here with this video, and I don't really know what to call this video or how to really describe this video. Essentially, I'm just going through some of my unread books from my bookshelf, or all of them really. I took all of the books that I haven't read yet, so I should just go through them and have them all in the video. And then if you have read some of these books and you think I should read them sooner than some of the other ones, you should let me know. Or if you just want to hype up any of the books, because some of these books have been sitting on my shelf for a very, very long time, and I think I want to try to read them in the next couple of months, or start getting to some of them in the next couple of months. So I think I'm going to start off with my LGBTQ books, because that's for my middle shelf. Also, everything on the shelf up there I've read, which is really awesome, but I've taken down the ones that I haven't read, and I'm going to show you all of them right now. The Danish Girl. I don't actually know much about the Danish Girl. I just knew it was LGBT, as there's a trans character in the story, and I got this from a library sale for like $1 at my library when their library sale was happening last year, and I just still haven't gotten around to reading it yet. Three Truths and a Lie by Brent Hardinger. I really love Brent Hardinger's writing with the Russell Meadowbrook series, and this is like a mystery kind of story. There are 4 truths on the back, and apparently one of these truths is going to be a lie. And yeah, there's some queer characters, and I think there's 2 queer characters, and their 2 friends all out at this cabin for a weekend, and teenagers away at a cabin. This could just go very horribly wrong, actually. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if anyone dies in that or something, but I'm getting like a mystery thriller vibe from it, so it does sound good. I just haven't got around to reading it. Miseducation of Cameron Post, which I keep saying I'm going to get to. I keep telling people I really need to get to. I feel like this is one of those like staples of queer lit, especially with Lesbian Pictures, about a girl who her parents die and she has to go stay with her aunt or something like that, who's very religious, and her aunt sends her away to a conversion therapy camp, I believe. Bad Boy by Elliot Wake. The main character of this story is a YouTuber, I believe, like a trans YouTuber, who's also a vigilante. Yeah, I've wanted to read Elliot Wake book for a while, and I follow Elliot Wake on Twitter and Instagram and follow their life, so I was like, picked up the book and just still haven't gotten around to reading it yet. It's a very pretty book too. I really like it. It's like a nice feel to this book. It feels nice. Been here all along. I feel like I've heard this book described as like the You Belong With Me Taylor Swift video, except for gay. It's about these 2 guys who are friends. They live across the street from each other, and one's a jock, one's a nerd. Sounds really cute. Still haven't read it yet. I've had it on TBRs before and just never got to it. Same with this book. Had it on a few TBRs. It is Rainbow Boys by Alex Sanchez, and I really like Alex Sanchez's writing from what I've read so far. This is the beginning of a trilogy, and I think that might be part of the reason why I haven't started it. I feel like I just know I'm going to want to read the next 2 if I really like it, and I should just get the other 2 books and then just read the trilogy all in one go. Anything could happen. I actually don't know much about this book either, but it was recommended by Arcia over at Neck with the Book Log, who is one of my favorite booktubers, and he loves this book. He loves this book, so I picked it up at some point. It was like on my wish list, and just picked it up, and I was like, still haven't read it yet. Still haven't read it yet. I was going to read it around the 4th of July, because like firework on the cover, but then that didn't happen, so here we are. Karen and Drew is a MM romance book about these 2 guys named Karen and Drew. I don't really know much more about it than that. I actually picked this up at BookCon last year. Yeah, that's when I went to BookCon last year. Not this year's BookCon, last year's BookCon in Chicago, because it was like literally really fucking close to me. I live in Chicago. So I went to that one, and I picked this book up then, and I also picked up this book, Here's to You, Zed Pineclad by Joanna Parkhurst, and I think this one might be signed. It is signed. Yeah, okay, I talked to the author at BookCon for a bit before I got this book, and she signed it to me, and she's really nice, and I still haven't read this book yet. I'm really horrible. So technically, I have read like half of this, and I keep putting it down. Not that I don't like it, I think I just wasn't prepared for the heaviness of it. It gets a little heavy. It's a steamy book. It's a little steamy, it gets a little heavy, but like, I'm not used to that in book form. I'm usually used to that in like reading things on my Kindle. Like I really read MM romance like this more so on my Kindle than I do on physical copy. But I will go and read this at some point for sure. I will need to finish it at some point. Probably this year for sure. Definitely. Like that one. That's one I need to definitely try to do in the next few months. Hopefully. Proxy Battles on End. This is one of the few sci-fi books on my entire shelf. It's about this world where people can have proxies that will take punishments for them and things like that if they get in trouble or crimes or whatever. So, yeah, this sounds interesting. I haven't read it yet. I know a lot of people have recommended me this who read a lot of queer lit. They really love this book. It believes the duology is Proxy and Guardian. I don't have Guardian yet, but my library has it, so I will probably, if I ever read Proxies, can just pick that up from my library. So, yeah, it's interesting. I do want to read it at some point. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, I've noticed, but I need to read a bit more, try to read some more sci-fi for sure. At the Edge of the Universe by Sean David Hutchinson. I really like Sean David Hutchinson's writing. This is a story about a guy whose boyfriend disappears and everyone starts to forget him, and he has to figure out what's happening with his boyfriend, and the universe might be shrinking and things like that. I like Sean David Hutchinson's writing. It's just weird, and I just never know what to expect, and so I'm excited to read this. It's just a little bit of a thicker book, and I keep trying to read it. I tried last month, and I just didn't start it. I just didn't. It's happening. I'm also really busy with writing and working and things like that, so it's life. It's What They Always Tell Us by Martin Wilson. I read to the second chapter of his book, and I just didn't like the brother's perspective. This book is two perspectives. One's a gay character, and the other is his older brother. I don't really like the older brother's perspective, and that's why I stopped reading, but I will continue to read this anyway, because I really do like the gay character in the book. And I think it's going to be about those two brothers who are very distant at the start of this book, and maybe them trying to build some type of bridge to become family again. And also, the gay character has a potential romance with a friend of the brothers, I think, which no one talks about this book. I haven't seen anyone talk about this book, so I really should read it and see if it's any good and write a review of it. Also, that's so pretty. It's so pretty. I really like the cover, actually. So yeah. Wonders of the Invisible World. I literally have no clue what this is about. It's a Stonewall Honor Book Award by Christopher Barczyk. I got this in the YA Pride unboxing that I did a while back, and I just haven't read it yet, and I'm pretty sure it's signed. I might be wrong. No, it's definitely signed. It's for the YA Pride winner, All the Wonders of the World to You, and it's signed. Yeah, so maybe that's why I haven't read it. I'm really bad at reading my signed books because I don't want to ruin them. But yeah, I will read this at some point for sure. It looks interesting. There's proof that I have tried to read this book a few times. The God Box by Alice Sanchez. Religion is a really iffy topic for me to read on. This is a book about two guys, well, the main guy who is very religious, but also has some feelings for men, and him fighting that and trying to reconcile being queer and religious, and trying to figure out how this character does that, I believe. This character is queer and also religious as well, and it's yeah, I don't know, man. I will read it. I love Alex Sanchez, like I said. I love the writing art from where I got it. Just dealing with that in books is interesting for me and a little difficult, but I will finish this because I really do want to read it. Educating Simon is a book by Robin Talley, and I picked this up right after I read Evolution of Ethan Poe by Robin Talley just because I really liked the writing. And I love Evolution of Ethan Poe. Maybe that's probably why I haven't started this one yet, because I just don't want to be disappointed. But this is a book that follows a gay character named Simon, I believe. He has to move from England to Boston with his mother. His mother drags him to Boston. Everything that he loves is in England, like his boyfriend, the school that he wants to go to, everything is in England. I believe this is about him mentoring a young student. He starts to mentor a young kid, and that kid ends up being trans. And so it sounds really interesting. It sounds like it could be very, very good. I'm kind of excited to dive into it. I think this book has just been sitting very pretty on my shelf, and I just haven't wanted to pull it off. And now that I've pulled it off, I definitely will be getting to this as soon as I can, because this does sound really interesting. I'll count Unburied Fables because I know at least some of the stories in here are queer. It's basically retellings of fairy tales. So yeah, and I know some of the authors from YouTube, and I really should read some of these, by the way, as soon as I can. Fictional Time Traveler. I don't actually know quite what this is about. I think it's about a guy named Jack who travels back in time and into the body of a woman in the past or something like that. I don't know. It sounds really interesting, though. So, yeah. This is also from the YA Pride unboxing. So, I just haven't picked this up yet. But it does look very interesting. Junior Hero Blue by J.K. Pendragon. This is a story about Javier Medina, who is an awkward high schooler with superpowers. So it's a gay superhero story, and I love those, and I really need to read this. I actually won this in a giveaway, I'm pretty sure. And I mentioned that in my haul where I hauled it. But yeah, I need to read this book because it just sounds really, really fantastic. That is all of the books that I'm going to be mentioning in this little queer unread books video. Woo! So yeah, I'm gonna have another video where I show you some of my other books from my shelf that aren't LGBT that I haven't read, that are all from that bottom shelf back there. In a future week, I'm probably gonna film it like now or tomorrow, and so like it's gonna come up in like a week or so. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you've read any of these or if any of these sound of interest to you, you should tell me in the comments down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.